Welcome to A and B Horror Movies. I'm Aaron, and I'm very excited to be joined today by Stuart Ortiz. Stuart, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. I can't wait to chat with you today about your brand new movie called Strange Harvest, about a mysterious serial killer named Mr. Shiny. It's fantastic. I saw it on the big screen. It's told in a documentary, found footage style, and I think it's terrifying. So I can't wait to talk with you about it today. Congratulations on your new movie.
Cool. Thank you so much. And thanks for coming out and seeing it in theater.
Yes, yes, on the big screen. Oh my God, it was fantastic. So let's see. Before we jump into Strange Harvest, you are half of the Vicious Brothers. You co-wrote and co-directed Grave Encounters. You also co-wrote Extraterrestrial. We just show off the
That's right.
physical copies I have right here. Huge fan of your film. And you also co-wrote Grave Encounters 2. So congratulations across the board. I loved Strange Harvest. I love your films. And to be honest, I can't wait to see what you do next. But with that being said, let's jump right into Strange Harvest. Some of the reviews, I just want to read a few of these because they're fantastic and I agree with all of them. The next big horror sensation, unnerving, a modern criminal nightmare, pulls us into an otherworldly terror, shocks, captivates, and horrifies, a gory supernatural mystery, blood curdling, unsettling, and bone chilling. Come on, that's just awesome. What a great way to describe your film. And with that, my very first question for you is, what was the inspiration for Strange Harvest? What gave you the idea to create Mr. Shiny?
Oh, let's see. Well, I think it was a long time coming. I think it had been brewing for quite a while. When we made Grave Encounters, that was like almost 15 years ago or something now, which is crazy. It makes me feel so
Yes.
old.
Oh my God,
But
time flies. Yes.
oh, I know it truly does. When I made that film, that movie's got kind of like it's a found footage film, but it kind of has some documentary elements to it. We did like interviews and
Mhm.
whatnot, and I always just thought it was a cool format and a cool way that you could sort of tell a genre story, or in particular a horror story. Just kind of interesting, different way of looking at a horror story that you normally, don't in a more standard
Mhm.
narrative film. And yeah, I just kind of love that kind of thing. It allows you to really like get into stew and kind of exposition and play and world building a lot more and just like get into the thick of it more so than you can in normal movies. So I always loved it just as like a technique. So it stayed in my mind, and then just years went by and I kind of kept thinking about it and kind of got this idea of like, cool, it would be cool to do like a mockumentary, but I didn't know what to do it about exactly. And it was actually the documentary Tiger King on Netflix that came out
Oh,
during
wow.
during I know, weird inspiration, but it came out during COVID. It wasn't so much inspiring in terms of its content, although the thing about Tiger King that people kind of forget is that it's a true crime story at its
Yeah.
core. That's like what it
Yes.
is.
Oh my
It's a
gosh.
very
Yeah.
it's a very funny true crime story, and it has a lot
Yes.
of ridiculous things that happen.
Unintentionally funny, but yes, keep going.
Unintentionally funny, for sure. But yeah, and it that was the impetus, I think, because it was so popular and was such a sensation that it sort of showed me that like people that it was just everywhere, that it was super popular, that
Yeah.
true crime had kind of like arrived in a way. I think I had thought for the longest time that I was like the only weirdo that loved to listen to like murder stories before I would go to bed every night, like listening
You're
to
not alone.
that's what I figured out, is I was not alone, and that everyone was into this. Soccer moms were into it, like all the most unsuspecting people you wouldn't think like
Mhm.
were into this content. So it seemed like the timing was right, and that the we were kind of at a point in the culture when I think my fear had been that I would do it and people wouldn't quite like get what I was trying to ape on or something like that. But after I saw Tiger King and saw how Netflix had done that format so well, it was like the language I felt like was established, that I could do it and that people would get it. And then it was very quick. It was just like, the inspirations are very much on the surface. It's like True Detective,
Good.
Silence of the Lambs, all those things kind of got thrown into like a blender. Poughkeepsie tapes thrown in a
Yeah.
blender. shake it up and then add some of my own weird secret sauce to it, and that's sort of what became the
Yeah.
movie.
Oh, it came together so well. And I guess that sort of leads to my next question. What do you think is so fascinating about true crime? And was it always your intention to sort of tap into that with Strange Harvest? And to be honest, I went into your film sort of blindly. I didn't really know what to expect. And there was a moment in the theater where I thought, this isn't real, right? And it was so authentic and it feels so real and it pulls the audience right into the story. I think the whole format, the whole structure, the final act is just insane. But I can go on and on about that, and I don't want to get ahead of myself. So, why do you think true crime is so popular? And was it always your intention to sort of tap into that fascination?
I think true crime is popular probably for multiple reasons. I mean, I think that as
Mhm.
human beings, we're have always been interested in darker stories and stories about death because I think it's a way that we can process our own fears of our own mortality and of death. And I think true
Mhm.
crime in particular, I think the reason it's so popular is because it sort of holds your hand through the stories, and it usually provides sort of context and commentary and a certain amount of like explanation for what's happened. And also very often the stories that are being told are in past tense and have been resolved in some
Mhm.
way, whether the crime's been solved or they figured out more information or whatever. You have more information and you're given as much information as they can, and that
Yeah.
somehow makes it, I just think it's easier for people to process that way. It's a little less scary that way, I think.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I tried to weaponize that in the movie,
Oh,
basically.
I like that. Yes, that's a great way to describe it because you did it flawlessly. It works so well. I know I've said that already. I'm repeating myself. Um, Well, let's see. So my next question sort of relates to, from a director's perspective, how do you motivate the actors to act as if they are being interviewed as real people? Um, and maybe you can talk a little bit about the casting process. So we have Peter Zizzo, who's Detective Joe Kirby, Terry Apple plays Detective Alexis Taylor, and of course Jesse Clarkson plays Mr. Shiny. But going back to the detective, the actors who play the detectives, what was the casting process like, and how do you motivate them to sort of be natural in an interview format?
Sure. Well, this is a non-union film, so we didn't do it through SAG,
Okay.
which presents different challenges. It can be positive and negative, I think, depending on what you're doing, but we just didn't have much
Mhm.
money. We couldn't afford to do union, so we had to go non-union. But we had a good casting agent, Kara Sullivan, her name is, and she just kind
Okay.
of threw out a wide net. One of the problems with trying to find actors, because it needs to be an unknown face. It has to be someone that we don't recognize immediately. So it needs to
Mhm.
basically be an unknown actor, but it needs to be an actor that is great. And that is a especially hard thing to find in the non-union acting world, because usually an actor of that age, if they're any good, they will kind of make it into more of like the mainstream. They'll get better, they'll get more success, and they will join
And get
SAG.
recognized. Yeah.
Right. So usually if you're non-union in that age range, it's because you're usually not very good, which is what we saw. There was just a
Oh,
lot of
okay.
people that were not great. And it was
Let's not
just
mention
very,
names. I
no, that's
joke.
not mentioning
Keep
names,
going.
no. And of course it's very difficult, and I couldn't act, so I'm not one to speak at all. But
Yeah.
we saw a lot of people, and no one was really adding up. And then I just got two tapes from Peter and Terry, and it was just like, wow,
Mhm.
this is really something that feels right and feels authentic, and
Mhm.
they seem like they just seem believable as real people. And like honestly, as far as like
Absolutely.
directing that, it's like a lot of other directors have said, like casting is a huge part of directing, like just getting casting correct. And I think in the
Mm.
case of the movie, it's just I once I found those people and I was confident, and then we got there and I saw just Peter do the first take. I remember I went up and gave him a big hug because I was just like,
I
okay,
love
I know
that.
that I found
Yeah.
my person. But it's like they had a lot of the right instincts, because it's very specific, right? It's like you have
Mhm.
to play a real person, but a real person who's being interviewed, and that's like a weird situation that like I'm in right now that you're in. Like it puts you in a different
Yeah.
it puts you in a different headspace. So like there's
Yes.
almost two different things that are going on at once, and they just really got that and were able to nail like being in front of the
Mm.
camera and like yeah. So I was just really lucky. I found the two perfect people.
Yeah, and authentic, believable. They're perfectly cast, perfect roles for them.
And
Excellent
Jesse
choices.
too,
Yeah,
as
Jesse, I was
Mr.
just going to
Shiny.
ask about them. And I understand he's really tall and wasn't necessarily your first choice for Mr. Shiny, but it just was a perfect fit. Can you speak
Yeah,
to that
well,
a little bit?
Jesse first came on board as the production designer to the film, and
Hmm.
he was going to be doing all of our set work and designing all the art and stuff like that. And then at some point, he kind of came up to me and was like, "Hey, man, what do you think about me playing, the killer in the film?" And I was like, I hadn't even thought about it, and I was like, are you like an actor or like have you done it before? And he's like, I've done some stuff before. And he gave me a copy of
Yeah,
a film he had been in called The Vault, is a James Franco is in it. And he basically plays a masked like bank robber in it. And in the movie, it was like I saw that I was like, oh, this guy can actually perform. This guy is actually like an
yeah,
actor. And
mm,
so that really won me over. And then just like yeah, and then I was like looking at him, I'm like, you are perfect for this actually. Like you're so tall and you have a great
yeah.
look. You're very like
Good.
skinny at the same time. And I think it really helped the movie because he did the production design for the movie. He designed the mask in the film. And as a result of that, I feel like he kind of is like looming over the whole movie in a way, like Mr. Shiny looms over the entire production or something.
Oh my gosh, yes. And it's a perfect example of kind of what you don't see as scary as, and I think that's what carries through so well with the film. But I have to ask, you mentioned that he designed the mask. What sort of iterations were there of the mask, and how did you land on this final, really creepy, I don't even know how to describe it, mask for Mr. Shiny?
Well, my only note that I had, because I really didn't know exactly what I wanted when I gave it to Jesse, was I just
Yeah,
want to try to incorporate the symbol. We have a symbol in the film that's like these 3 points with a triangle, basically,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's a important symbol in the film and shows up multiple times. And I just knew I wanted to incorporate that. And so he tossed around ideas, and then he was just like, oh, well, it's very simple. It's just two two dots for the eyes and one for the mouth. And he just came
In a
up with this
triangle. I can't
in
do
a
the triangle
triangle.
shape, but in a triangle, yeah.
Yeah, and he presented it to me and it was exactly the first iteration. And he had apparently, I think he played with a few
Mm.
different things, but he was very inspired by the Pink Floyd The Wall movie. And there's this sequence
Oh
where
yeah.
there's like these demonic kind of weird children that walk by and they have these
Yeah,
weird
walking. Yes.
yes.
Oh my gosh.
He was
Go
inspired by
ahead. I'm
that
sorry.
as well. Yeah, yeah. So he showed me that mask and it was
Oh,
just I thought it was so perfect. And I was like, it's why hasn't someone just done it? It's so simple in a way, It's just the three dots. It's like, but yeah, I saw that and I was like, that's
and
great.
like,
That's really awesome.
yeah, and it's sort of like, I don't know, sort of bulges out. It's rounded. It's dark colored, and seeing his eyes through the holes is what makes it so terrifying. Even especially when there's a few close-ups there. Um,
Mhm.
Gosh, let's see. So no spoilers here. The final act is very intense. Generally, what was it like filming the final act at night, being out in the woods, and then even in the post-production of bringing all the elements together with, the live action sequences and the interviews to make give us the resolution that we have with Strange Harvest.
Well, we shot a couple different locations all around Los Angeles,
Mhm.
and for one sequence towards the end of the film, it's meant to be in San Bernardino, and we did shoot some in San Bernardino, but for that part, we it was just too logistically difficult to shoot in the actual forest out there. But
Okay.
the kind of forest they have in San Bernardino are like more there's bigger trees. They don't really have anything like that in LA. So I found some location way out past like Lancaster, like kind of going north, and
Mhm.
it was difficult to shoot all that stuff for sure because there was very little crew. Like it was
Mhm.
like me and like Jessee, makeup artist, a few other people, the actors, obviously, but like it was very bare bones. We had run out of money at that point, and like we did a bunch in one day. We built this structure that he's built out there. We had to build that
Yes.
ourselves, and like in basically like a 24-hour period, we put that whole thing together, and it was tough. It was definitely grueling. And the main thing I remember is just being in the absolute pitch dark, like looking around and just being like, here's our two tents that we have that have lights. And then
Yeah.
just, and there's no light anywhere else, like at all. But it helps, I think, because it's like what you see is what you get. I think it's kind of scary because you can't see anything, and that's because we
Oh,
couldn't see
for
anything.
sure. Yeah, you must have been creeped out yourself in the moment being out and like assuming in the middle of nowhere, maybe there's some movie magic, but dark, middle of nowhere, a little bit of light, and you're
Yeah,
filming
yeah.
a horror movie. So that makes it even more powerful in a way, I guess I would say. Um, so as you know, I'm a fan. I've seen it on the big screen. I loved it. Have you been to any live screenings with a live audience? And if so, what has it been like to witness their reaction to the film and then even get their feedback afterwards? So hopefully you've had that opportunity.
Yeah, many times now through the festival run, and then a couple times I had to go check it out when it was in theaters. And it's always
Cool.
great. I mean, you kind of memorize the parts that work. It's not a jump scare kind of film, but it does have a couple moments in it, and they seem to
Hmm.
get people. They seem to get people, and so I'm always like watching the audience and waiting for when those parts are going to come, and they seem
It's
to work.
coming.
So it's always really, really fun to watch it with people. And then in the aftermath. Like it's great to talk to people. Some people actually had, after one of the festival screenings, I had a guy come up to me and he said, I'm a forensic photographer and I like do this for a living. And like, you
Oh,
got me. Like, I was shook by it. So I was like, that's like the biggest compliment I could possibly get, basically. Because this is a
yes.
person that takes real crime scene photos, because we do have recreated crime scene photos
Hmm.
in the film. And
Hmm.
he thought they were pretty on they were pretty on point. So I was like, I felt good about that.
It's so good. And there were a lot of other folks in the theater. So it wasn't like a slasher where everyone was like screaming and throwing popcorn up in the air. There was sort of like a I don't know, like a collective silence, and then when it ended, there was just sort of like an awe that sort of took over everyone in the theater, and it was a really fantastic experience to be part of that. I can't wait to rewatch it. Um, let's see, would you ever return to Mr. Shiny? Do you think you would do a sequel or leaving it the open sort of ending, leaving it at that?
I would love to do a sequel, and like it's actually would be my grand plan with this whole thing is to do like almost like a cinematic universe of these films, of
Oh
these kind
yeah.
of mock documentaries that could share storylines and characters. Absolutely. I mean, I don't know if you saw, but we have a little post-credits sequence at the very end of the movie.
No, I left. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we
Say
have
more. Are there
we have
spoilers? Oh,
I
damn.
won't spoil anything, but we have a little extra bit in there to chew on. And suffice to say, it may not be the very end of Mr. Shiny or of any of the characters necessarily. There's
Very
definitely
cool.
room there. There's definitely room. I would
I'd
love
love
that.
that. I was hoping you'd say that. So that's the answer I was looking for. I'd love to see more of the Strange Harvest universe, Mr. Shiny universe. There's so many pieces to the puzzle that you could explore. Um, gosh, I sure hope we get more. Count me in. Let's see. So for those who haven't seen it, who didn't get a chance to go see it in the theater, how would you describe Strange Harvest? Perhaps using other films, like I often just say Alien versus Predator or Alien meets Predator. How would you pitch Strange Harvest?
Oh, let's see. That's a good question. Like it's because of the documentary format. It's like a what film? What can I compare it to on that side? I don't know. It's just like a documentary that is, if True Detective sort of was made into a
Yes.
documentary. I think that's the closest
Yeah.
comparison I can put in my mind.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Like Mungo, maybe.
Lake
Um,
Mungo, certainly. I mean, Poughkeepsie tapes, definitely comes to
Poughkeepsie
mind.
tapes.
That was
Yes.
certainly an inspiration for this film, no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, any sort of films that really embrace documentary style in a fictitious format, I think. But you do it nicely because you intelligently weave in the serial killer aspect of it, and you've created a serial killer here that is frightening. This film stays with you for days. Um, Gosh, it's been over a week for me, 2 weeks now, I think, and I'm still thinking about it, not just because of this interview, but it still comes back to me. And I think that's the sign of a success. You've created a fantastic film if you're still thinking about it days later. Um, so there you go. I don't have a question there. I'm just giving you some more praise. Let's see. Will we get a physical copy or is it too soon to say?
I think it's too soon to say, but I'm pushing for it. I would love that. I'm a huge physical media. I see you got your all your stuff behind you there. I have the same thing in another room. Yep,
Oh,
yep.
nice. And I've got, yes, oh, upside down. Yes, yes.
I got
Okay, okay.
copies of
Well,
movies over there. I'm
I can
pushing
see
for it.
your, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's getting
That's
harder.
awesome.
It's getting harder, especially as an indie film, these days to
Mm,
convince them that you to put out the physical media. But I'm pushing for it. We'll see what can happen. But I'm trying for it. I'm gonna record a commentary track and stuff
fingers
and get all that
crossed.
stuff ready in case we
Oh,
can't. So I'm pushing for it.
and maybe some behind the scenes or I don't know, anything that didn't make it into the film that had to be cut, like cut scenes or
Yeah, I could put stuff out
director's
like that.
commentary. There's so much you could do.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes, yes. Excellent. Well, hopefully that'll happen. Fingers crossed. Let's see. So, putting physical media aside, do you know how fans will be able to watch your film streaming wise? Or is it too soon to say?
Sure, yeah. Well, the big date that we have is September 9th. We're coming to digital. We're coming to VOD then. So it will be
Oh,
available
excellent.
digitally to buy and rent on all major platforms.
And this will likely post after September 9th. So if you're watching, go stream Strange Harvest right now. And
Do
I'm
it.
going to leave it
Do it.
at
Go check it
yes,
out.
do it. Leave it at that. Let's see. So I've got to ask a couple questions about Grave Encounters. So,
Sure.
um, gosh, like you said, it's been 15 years, nearly 15 years. Fantastic found footage film. Did you ever imagine that it would have so many fans and that you'd still be talking about it so many years later, that it would have such longevity?
I don't think so. When we made it, we were so just in our own heads trying to just get through the shoot and trying to make it as cool as we can. You're never really thinking about any of
Mhm.
that stuff. You're just thinking about trying to get it done and then every next step that comes up. I mean, we initially were just so excited that we were able to sell it at all and that anyone was going to put it out. So everything that's happened since then with people liking it
Mm.
and it kind of becoming a found footage movie that people talk about is super gratifying because when we made it, we were, super into it and it was made purely from a
Mhm.
place of just pure passion and two big horror nerds just trying to make something cool, basically.
Yeah, I love that. And I think you succeeded. And lastly, I want to give a shout to Extraterrestrial because I'm not sure this one gets as much attention as it deserves. A sci-fi, terrifying film. Congratulations on this one too. The reflection's a little weird. Um, Gosh, let's see. What was it like making Extraterrestrial? Is there anything you'd want to say quickly about this one? How would you sell this, perhaps, for those who haven't seen it?
Extraterrestrial is like an awesome sci-fi horror alien abduction nightmare film,
So
basically.
good. Yeah.
Has very generic setup with some kids go to a cabin in the woods, but then
Yeah.
aliens come. And when aliens come, it gets really crazy.
So
That movie,
intense. Yeah. Go
yeah,
ahead. I cut
yeah.
you off. I'm sorry.
No, no, it's fine.
So
We
intense.
have a lot of fun stuff in it. I think
Mhm.
making that movie was crazy because it was like we had a couple $1 million to make it, which was way more money than we'd ever have to make anything. So we were able to do some cool stuff. Like, we have a scene early in the movie where a woman gets abducted in a phone booth, and we dropped like a phone booth from like a crane, and
Yeah,
like
it looks so good.
we did a lot of fun stuff in that movie. That was fun to make.
Mm.
Again, challenging, always challenging. And we shot it in Vancouver, which is where it made Grave Encounters as well, and Grave Encounters 2,
Yes.
Vancouver, Canada. And it's beautiful out there, but it also rains. And I remember we shot a proof of
Yes.
concept actually for Extraterrestrial before to get money to make the movie. We shot like a little proof of concept, and I remember it was absolutely raining to the point where like the equipment was like we had a big crane, a big techno crane, and it was like sinking into the mud basically. So
Oh my
fun
gosh.
times on a yeah, fun times on an indie
Yeah.
set.
You can't change the weather. It does rain a lot in Vancouver. Um, let's see. I just got a couple more questions and I want to jump into this or that, which I talked about before we started recording. So now that you've done, um, I hate to say mockumentary, but documentary style, found footage films or some sci-fi elements in your films as well as in Strange Harvest, but again, I won't give anything away. Are there any horror subgenres that you haven't tried yet that you would love to in the future?
Hmm.
Like, I don't know, like
Yeah,
extreme
I mean,
body horror. Go ahead. I mean,
certainly body
extraterrestrial
certainly
has a
body horror. I
little
mean,
bit.
I would be interested in trying to do like a kind of like ambient lo-fi horror along the lines of like a Skinamarink. Interests
Oh,
me. I'm a big
yeah.
lover of like analog video equipment. I have a big collection of analog video equipment in the other room, like old video cameras, VHS, all that kind of stuff. I love. So I think it really plays towards horror. Something about that like
Yes.
grainy video aesthetic is just inherently kind of creepy.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
I would love to experiment with something like that that's a little bit more experimental, you know?
Yeah, that would be amazing. Like in Skinamarink, who knew like Legos would be so scary? But as you're watching it, like, wow, I feel really creeped out and unnerved, and I don't know why. So I love where you're going with it, and I hope that happens. Let's see. One last sort of fun question. Do you have a favorite film of 2025 so far? Um, Not including Strange Harvest.
I think was Warfare this year? It was, wasn't it?
I think, yeah, it was. It did come out this year. I haven't
Well,
seen it yet, though, to be honest. It's good?
Warfare is, yeah, I mean, it's kind of random choice. It's not a horror thing, but for me, that was one of my most intense theatrical experiences. Yeah,
Oh, cool.
super well made and just
Okay.
a very intense and just immediate, it's a very immediate feel of it, of this war situation that happened. And yeah, I saw the movie twice. I loved it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'll check it out. Um, I will add it to my list. All right, let's see. Let's jump right into this or that. So, like I said, it's usually kind of fun. And in most cases, there's no right or wrong answer. You just pick one or the other. And the first one is the Blair Witch Project from 1999 or Paranormal Activity from 2007.
Gotta go with the OG. Gotta go with Blair Witch. Blair Witch is like
Mhm.
is I worship the movie. I worship the ground that the movie walks on. Basically, I was like the perfect age when the film came out. I think it's 99, right? The golden year of cinema, of
Yes.
American cinema. I was like
Yes.
the perfect age. I was
Mhm.
the perfect age using the internet for like the internet marketing campaign that they did for that film. That was absolutely you probably remember it.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. Remember like the documentary that the Sci-Fi Channel put out? It's like
Yes,
a
yes.
40. I thought it was real.
Curse of the Blair Witch. I love that
Terrified.
thing too. That
It's
also,
so good.
forgot to mention that, but like the Curse of the Blair Witch, the companion little mini documentary that's made as a companion to Blair Witch Project is equally brilliant to Blair Witch Project, in my opinion. It's like a
Mhm.
fake documentary. It actually inspired Strange Harvest as well to some extent because it's so well done and so realistic.
Absolutely. Yeah, I could see that. Great choice. Great choice. I'm right there with you on that. Okay, would you want to go on an uncharted camping trip in the wilderness or stay in a luxury mountainside resort?
Resort all the way, baby.
Yes, I'm with you on that. We've all seen the movies, right? Don't go out in the woods camping.
Yeah, I've
I
done
mean,
some camping before and it's fine, but if I get the
of
choice
course.
between the two, I'll take resort every time for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So found footage here, do you like lost tapes, found footage films, or a live stream gone wrong?
I would say lost tapes, I
Mhm.
think. Um,
I think so too. But there are
because
some great live streams gone wrong, like hosts that came out during COVID. So
Mhm.
good.
I did the
Yeah.
trailer for Host actually.
Oh,
I know
no
Host quite
way.
well. Yeah,
Oh
I
my
also
God. I had no idea. That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. Um, I met that director
Cool.
actually at a film festival in Norway for Strange Harvest, and he's a super cool guy. But yeah,
Yeah.
I like Toast. I like some of them. Some of them, if they're not well done to me, they can get kind of boring. So that's
Mhm.
why I would usually lean onto Lost Tapes. And to Lost Tapes to me is always just like, can you hear that? My my Alexa is
Yes.
like thinking I'm talking to it.
Oh no, I didn't hear it. No.
Yeah. The Lost Tapes thing though is always like I don't know, it's just I love that setup. That's just creepy. Lost Tapes. Like
Yeah,
what's it's always about the
agreed.
mystery of like what happened, you know.
And what's on the tape? Absolutely. Yes. Unfriended 2, I think, is another good sort of live stream
Unfriended.
film.
Yeah, I
Um,
haven't seen those.
yeah, okay. Let's see. Found footage films here: The Sacrament from 2013 or The Endless from 2017. Sort of cult themed found
Mm,
footage.
I like The Endless quite a bit. I like that
Mhm.
film.
Yeah.
But I think I would go with Sacrament for its just commitment to being just this very gnarly, you
Yeah.
know, just gnarly, like very raw found footage film. And that actor that they got to be the Jones character is great. And
Oh,
just
yes. Yeah. What's great about that is that right from the beginning, you know, something's amiss here. You just don't know how bad it's going to go. Um, okay, actually, let's see. Do you prefer a continuous take style or fragmented edits in a film?
fragmented edits, I think.
Hmm.
Again, because if they're not incredibly well done, they can get boring. I mean, if you know,
Yeah.
if they're super well done and they're really, really, really expertly put together and they really have done a good job, then that's always fun. But I can find them boring otherwise if they're not great. And
Yeah.
there's power in editing. Just the simple cut
Hmm.
between two things, like someone screaming hard cut to silence is always like powerful. There's always something there. So I'm a big
Yeah,
editorial
absolutely.
guy, so I would probably go with that.
I love it. Yeah, I love that. Let's see. I talked about this one already. Lake Mungo or Digging Up the Marrow?
Mungo, Mungo for sure.
Yeah, I'd probably do
Also,
that
the other
too.
film, I don't want to throw in the bus. I like that. It was fun. But
Yeah,
Lake Mungo is just I mean, really the gold standard, I would say, for the horror mockumentary because
so
it's
good.
flawless. It's so perfect. The actors are so great. I mean, I think
Hmm.
most anybody you would show that would assume it was real until you told them that it wasn't. And that
Yes.
movie has, like I'm sure like you were jaded horror people, and it can take a lot to really, really freak us out sometimes. And that movie has that moment. I'm sure you know the moment that I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about towards the end of the film, one of the big reveals that happens. I was like,
Yeah.
it really freaked me out. I was like, oh my God,
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. And every time I watch it, it's like I know it's coming and it still gets me every time.
yeah.
I'm right there with you. Um, okay. Films about an apocalyptic outbreak or a global monster attack.
Probably apocalyptic outbreak, I would say. Um,
Mm.
I tend to side more with I guess, with just realism, and I can buy a pandemic, even like a zombie virus pandemic, easier
Yeah.
for me to wrap my head around. Once we get monsters involved, that's a lot of fun, but it's a little bit more removed from reality. So I think I would go with
Mm.
the outbreak scenario.
Yeah, like 28 Days Later versus like Cloverfield, for example. Both fantastic films, though. Let's see. Do you prefer Dawn of the Dead from 1978 or Dawn of the Dead, the
Dawn of the Dead
2004
78
remake?
doesn't nothing else has to be uttered except for me to like
Nothing
it.
else. Okay,
Nothing
okay.
else
All
has to
right.
be even uttered.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Although the remake is quite good, but yes,
I
I hear
like the
you there.
remake too. The first movie is probably the biggest inspirational film, other than Blair Witch Project for me. It's those two, Dawn of the Dead 78. That movie
Yeah,
just hit me like a ton of bricks when I
it's
first
so
saw it.
good. Yeah, and even now it's still just as fantastic.
Yeah.
And the 4K edition is out, so it's like watching it again for the very first time. Okay, let's see. Gags the Clown or the Clown in Hell House LLC.
I would have to go with Hell House
Hmm.
LLC, I think for me. Um,
Scariest damn clown. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm not a big scary clown guy. I'm
Yeah.
not like obsessed about scary clowns. And that's like one of the few ones that they're creepy, they're freaky.
Oh yeah. I jumped. I still do every time I watch that. Okay, a couple cryptids here. Bigfoot or Frogman?
I'm just gonna go with Bigfoot. I don't even know what Frogman is. I don't, to be honest. I feel I feel like a betrayer of the horror of horror, but I don't know what Frogman even is.
There's a film out called Frogman. It's found footage. They go out in the woods looking for Frogman and they find him, and it's excellent. You should definitely
Is
check it out. It's
Frogman
really
like
good.
is Frogman an actual like real lore, or is it something they made up?
No, it's real lore. I think he's part of the sort of the cryptid, like
Oh,
with
okay.
Mothman. Um, I don't know what else is a cryptid. Anyway, but yeah, definitely check out the
Chupacabra,
film.
Chupacabra,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh
Definitely
yeah,
check out the
look it
film.
up. I'll
It's
read about
very good.
Frogman.
Yeah, yeah. I love it. And I think we're getting a sequel. So the timing is perfect.
Nice.
Um, all right. Do you prefer the Jaws franchise or the Halloween franchise?
Jaws franchise, I think. Um,
Jaws.
I love me
Yeah, that's
some
a tough one.
Halloween. Some of the sequels are not great with Halloween, but then
Mhm.
Jaws, The Revenge is kind of almost as bad as all of those. So
So bad it's good though,
so
right?
bad it's good. Oh yeah, the end with the shark and the roar and all that is amazing. But
Yes.
Jaws, the first Jaws, I mean Tarantino has said, it's like the best movie that's ever been made, and
Mhm.
it's definitely up there in terms of like that. Jaws is a movie, I think you probably would agree that if that just is playing like a scene from the end of the movie is playing, like I'll stop what I'm doing and
Yeah.
just watch it, you know?
Oh yeah. It's like, oh, Jaws is on. And the
Oh,
next thing you
Jaws is
know,
on.
it's like an hour and a half later,
You're watching the whole movie. Yeah,
you're still watching.
it's one
Yeah.
of those movies that just never gets old.
Yes, yes. So I used to ask Jaws or Halloween, and Jaws always got chosen. And then I started saying the franchise because it's a little bit more difficult because they both have bad films in the franchise. But the originals are great for what they are. Um, let's see. So Stuart, thank you so much for chatting with me today. Congratulations on Strange Harvest. If you're watching and you haven't seen it, make sure to check it out. My last question for you is how can folks find you on social media if you want to be found?
Just find me on Instagram. My name's Stuart Ortiz. Just add me on there. That's I post a lot on there. I post a lot of videos and stuff. I make a lot of content, so check me out.
Yes, I love that. And that's how you and I got connected. This has been fantastic. Congrats again on your film. Let's see. If you are watching, like and subscribe because it helps our channel. And one last time, thank you so much, Stuart, for chatting with me today.
No problem. Thank you. It's been fun.
Awesome. Bye, everyone.